Is it wrong for me to be so wrapped up in my own theme music? I don't know. Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be. It's Saturday where I'm at, and it is 11 o'clock, which means it's 2 o'clock in the East Coast, and it's 7 o'clock somewhere over in Central Europe. And it's time for the Virtual Pipe Club weekly meeting and greeting and showing off and everything. I'm your host, David Dorian Ross, founder of the Virtual Pipe Club. And these are the fabulous people joining us today inside the Zoom room.
Hey, folks.
Yeah, they're not actually
Hello,
late. They're
everybody.
just choosing not to talk. Okay, now. I put them on camera. Everybody shuts
Just like
up.
to talk over you.
Yes. Oh, go ahead and talk over me. Everybody does it. Well, we have a very, very special guest with us today. We're going to talk about a whole lot of things. One thing I want to say is that he has to leave a little bit early because he has a very special engagement. He's being very generous with his time today because tomorrow is a special day for him and his family, and so he has an event that he has to go to afterwards. So we're going to do our tradition, what are you smoking and what are you smoking it in after he leaves us, and that way we can make the most of his time that he's here. Raylan Grip is over there on YouTube, and he says, "Cheers from Brazil." So Brazil's in the house today. Everybody who is watching us over there on Facebook and YouTube, I really appreciate that you're there. And you could join the Zoom room if you wanted to. You could just pop right in and join us here in the Zoom room. Now that I said that, I want to introduce our special guest. And the way that I think I want to introduce him is as how I got introduced to him. And that is through one of the people that I treasure as a pipe maker, and I have a growing collection of pipes, and that is Chris Kelly at Eldridge Pipes. There's another recent acquisition of something great and bizarre. That's my aesthetic. And I love talking to Chris. I love watching what he does and makes, and I'm very interested in hearing what he smokes. It's just a curiosity thing. And he started talking about these blends that he was smoking from a blender named Ken Byron at Ken Byron Ventures. And the names of the blends were wild and in the vein of the pipe shapes that I was, the River of Deceit, the Verge Engine, a whole bunch of Sherlock Holmes types of blends like Moriarty and Mycroft and stuff like that. The one I'm smoking today is The Patience of Dr. Silence, which is not only the name of a design that Chris has in pipes, but also a book that's not that bad to read, book of short stories about stuff. So I have been hopeful about having Ken be on our show as a guest speaker, and he's here today, and I couldn't be more excited about it. So let me introduce our guest, Ken Byron. Hi, Ken. Say hello to
Hi,
everybody.
guys.
Put that up there like that.
I think.
Hey, welcome.
I think I have to start out with an apology, and it's not what you're expecting. Probably, it's a lot of people have asked me to do shows like this in the past, and I always was really hesitant to do it, right? And I just, this week I just got a phone call, and I just kind of changed my mind on the spot, and for anyone who's ever asked me to, be on their web show or do an interview or anything like that, it's nothing personal. There's no secret handshake here. These guys didn't do anything special or anything like that. I just changed my mind. I was like, why not? This was the time when I just finally said, you know what? I feel like talking to people. I feel like hanging out. Muletown's this weekend. I wish I could be there. It's in Tennessee. I bet they're having a great time right now. They're probably not watching us, but they're probably having a great time. Because anytime you get together with other people and really connect and bond and you get that fraternity going on, that's the best time in the world. And I think it's great that you guys do this and give a virtual version of that. And I just had to let go of my Gen X cynicism and just go with the flow and say yes.
Well, we really appreciate that you're here. And by the way, the check is in the mail. So I just want to remind you of that.
Thanks, Ken.
Well, let's do this, Ken. Maybe if you could, for the people who don't really know about you and your background, would you share with us sort of just the beginnings of your story, who you are as a blender, as a businessman, and whatnot, and then we can get into more stories after that. By the way, Ken did chat with me a little bit about looking forward to hanging out and just being guys together. And I guess that it also includes Silver. When she shows up, we'll just be guys together with Silver Gray. But you get my point. So Ken, bring us up to speed on your background.
I'm just a guy, you know. Actually, I had the most ordinary childhood ever, if you had to look at it. I'm just, you know, like anyone else here, this is just the hustle I got into, if I had to, be honest about it. I've spent the past year really trying to become more mature as a person, because I realized that to expand my business, I had to, let go of some, impish behaviors I used to have and really move forward. I'm a normal guy. I just happen to like pipes and pipe tobacco. And a lot of guys, you know, when they get into pipes, they become carvers, right? They become infatuated with the art of the pipe. They love the design. They love the catharsis. They love the zen of making the pipe. Sometimes they monetize them. Sometimes they make pipes for themselves and no one ever knows about them. I bet there are pipes people have made for themselves that are the best pipes in the world that no one's ever seen, you know, and I think that's the wonder of the hobby. I got into the tobacco side. I'm a tobacco nut. I wasn't in tobacco as a kid. I didn't get hooked on cigarettes or anything like that. I got into cigars first and pipes second. When I was 18 and in college, you know, because it was a boom time for it, to be honest. I would like to tell you that I had some magical, mystical first experience with a cigar, and that's what got me into it and all that. But the truth is, that was like 1993. Cigars were a boom. You were being exposed to them all the time, and the magical first experience was just, you know, the one you're attributing to it, right? If it wasn't that one, it was going to be the week after that or the week after that. So I got in with the fad. I'm completely honest about that. Back then, you know, most cigars were Dominicans that we had in America. They were all the, you know, General and Altatus brands that you see now on the shelves, you know, mostly Dominicans. But then you had the pipes and it was a totally different thing, right? To an 18-year-old guy, cigars can be very satisfying because that nicotine hit, right? You just feel it all throughout your body. Pipes are a more mature man's delicacy. And I don't say that to sound like some kind of snob or anything, but to a young testosterone-filled man who's full of energy and never wants to sit still, the zen of a pipe is anathema to you almost. You really have to, if you are 18 and really enjoying a pipe, you are a really laid back 18-year-old, you know? So I got into pipes as a corollary to that, but then I did learn how to slow down because I like that pipe enough that I learned some discipline for it, you know? I started out as a horrible pipe smoker, many charred bowls. You know, that was just a thing. I always loved the smell of the tobacco, the feel of the tobacco. I love the different blends and trying them out. I was a variety smoker back then. And I always wanted to, I couldn't be satisfied with just one blend. I had to branch out and see what was out there and try them and compare them and make notes, you know? I worked in high tech most of my life. I've owned several businesses. This is, you know, the latest one. I have a very background though in a lot of different pursuits. I didn't just study that in university even. I actually studied psychology and physics as well. I keep up with a lot of archaeology and Egyptology. And for the past year, I've been on a bender of classical philosophy, especially the Stoics, and a lot of Eastern philosophy, especially that of the Zen Buddhists and the Shinto. So I'm always into something, and I'm always looking to expand and grow.
We have a shared love of the Stoics. I'd love to we'll chat about that someday. Interesting, the connection that I would make is that the Stoics, you know, let's say Epictetus would probably be a pipe smoker if there had been pipes back then, because it would be, here we are enjoying just this moment. Like this is life. Nothing else needs to be done except smoke this pipe. I don't know if we're still streaming. It says we're still streaming, but there we go.
There was a lot of Stoic virtue in Irish culture, especially when it came to pipes. And when I was looking at their old postcards and the values they had, I was like, we've got this all backwards. We're in a simulacra of pipe culture. We have the pipes, but the culture that produced the temperament that all around that enabled that is missing. And is there any wonder, you know, people will smoke a pipe and sit there doom scrolling on Twitter. When you read these old postcards about just kicking back and reflecting on your day, thinking, you know, your contemplations, you know, when you're looking at that stuff, it's like, wow, these are just classical Stoic virtues, you know. And one of the things I've been on lately is I've been actually reading a lot of Sufi Islamic philosophy, and it's basically those same Stoic virtues, but from an Eastern perspective. Mm-hmm. You know, I've been reading this stuff where they're like, you know, Islam literally means submission, submitting your base level things, looking up at the stars and setting your aspirations higher. That sounds just like Marcus Aurelius, mm-hmm. doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And in the Sufi tradition, you know, Muhammad said Islam existed before him. You know, this philosophy, right, of keeping your mind on the higher and not the lower. And the pipe in the Irish culture was part of that tradition, those same universal values. And I think that's wonderful. And I think that connects all of us together around the world.
I think that the idea of pipe smokers and as you said, the culture of pipe smoking is a philosophical pursuit. Like as you sit, what do you do with your mind at that time while you're just kind of sitting around? You know, if you can stop yourself from scrolling through your iPhone and put aside the other cares of the day, it's like, what's left over? Well, let me think deep thoughts, and those deep thoughts do have this kind of universal confluence, you know. So I say the same thing all the time about Taoism and Shaolin Buddhism as well. There's this constant reverberation into Stoicism. But don't get me started, because we'll have a whole show about Stoicism.
Well, David, you know, I know you're a wushu champion. And you might find this funny, but I once actually was pretty high up in the Northern Shaolin, but I was devoid of the philosophy behind it. I was just learning combat arts without any of the deep philosophy that really runs underneath it. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because I was like, yeah, it's kind of weird, you know. We even made McDonald's out of those types of things, right? You get just the combat, none of the spirituality.
I was telling a story just yesterday, actually, in the class that I'm at a virtual conference this whole weekend, and so I was telling the story. When I went to the World Championships in China in 1991, 41 countries were represented there, and and oh my gosh, they were all fantastic. I mean, everybody who reached that level was incredible and amazing. And one of the teams that was really, really physically perfect were the Russians. And the Russians had this really perfect form that, they showed off that when they were competing, like perfect, like all their stances, all their positions, flawless. But they got one of the lowest scores in the competition. And the judges said, because there's no spirit there. It's all surface. It's all on the outside. So I guess that means that they saw a little bit of spirit in me when they watched me. I think this is a really wonderful opening. Maybe today, part of, if I could suggest some lines of thinking for questions for everybody, along the philosophical lines, like, sharing what your pipe connected philosophy is, no politics, and save the fart jokes for me. Just saying, remember. But let me open it up for a few minutes to everybody to ask Ken some questions and about his background a little bit. I've got some more, but let me open it up to you guys for now.
Hey, Ken, is it Jeremy or it's Jeremy, right?
You're talking to Ken.
Yeah.
I'm talking to Ken. Okay. Well, I guess Jeremy may have been on our Texas Pipe Club in 19, I think. Must be. I thought it was you, but I think it was Jeremy. But I just wanted to let you know, thank you for the great early morning pipe, which I acquired several pounds from you over the last few years. And I've tried your other blends too. Chris Kelly sent me some Goblin mixture, so I've kind of been experimenting with that. And I just want to, again, thank you for being on.
No problem, man.
I don't use cream in my coffee when I smoke early morning pipe. I hope you forgive me for that, but I think it still tastes good.
Any way that you like it is the best way to do it, man. That's my philosophy.
Thank you.
But I did talk with Texas Pipe Club. I sent them some good stuff. What's his name?
James. Yeah.
James.
Yes.
James is the webmaster for 15 different pipe sites. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
He is such a history buff. I really envy when he gets out and takes pictures of historical sites.
Yeah.
If there's anyone still on Instagram, follow him. He puts good stuff on there.
Right.
He really gets around to a lot of different historical places. Mm-hmm. I don't know what makes James tick, but he's such an interesting guy. And anytime I talk with him about tech stuff, he's really sharp. Awesome dude.
Yeah. I think he does Country Squire's website. And you're right. I work for the Texas Historical Commission, so we oversee all the Texas historic sites. So we have a lot in common, and we chat a lot about that.
Man, I'd like to be a fly on the wall and just listen to you guys for an hour. If you guys on the call are familiar with the iceberg meme, have you guys heard of this? What you see of an iceberg is only, the part that comes out of the water, right? And that refers to what the public understands of things usually, right? What everyone sees or thinks they see at least. And then these memes have different layers under the iceberg of how deep things go. So when it comes to history, generally there's this part on the top that most of us, get exposed to via movies and films and school books, and then down the underneath the iceberg, you get various layers. And the conversations at each level underneath there are different because the contexts are different. The people talking have different, levels of context. So when these two guys talk, if no one else is around, they have a different conversation than they would in front of the whole pipe club. That's why I'm like, I'd like to be a fly on the wall for like the level 5 level of the iceberg.
That's called a real story, Ken. That's what it's called. And we tell, and that's one of the things we do. We actually interpret and tell the real stories of the Texas places that history happened, which people really get into because there's so much they don't know. And it's like the Battle of the Alamo. Everybody knows, a lot of people across the country know about the Battle of the Alamo, but there's so much under the surface to that people don't know, and that's what we try to tell.
Heck, nowadays, most people only know that there isn't a basement. That's the one thing they know about the Alamo. That's at the very top of the iceberg now.
Let me.
Well, as Napoleon once said, history is but a fable agreed upon. And that actually applies to many other things, including pipes.
Ooh, that's a very interesting comment.
Part, something like generally accepted, but a lot of times we don't know all the background.
Dimitri, that kind of reminds me of a conversation I was having yesterday. And actually, it was Friday. It was at lunch with some people I hadn't seen in a long time. So there were a lot of smiles, a lot of bro fists, a lot of hugs. And we were sitting there and we were talking about English versus other languages. And I was talking about the fact that in Italian, you pronounce every syllable. There are no drop syllables. It's not allowable. Even opera, every syllable, if you read a transcript, you will follow exactly what they are singing or doing. And we talked about English, and there's Middle English, Old, and I was like, well, English is just a social construct. It is whatever the English speakers at that time agree it is. And that's why it's so chaotic. Other languages have firm structures and rules, but English is more of a consensus at any one point in time. So when you talk about history that way, yeah, at the top of the iceberg, there's the public consensus version of that, and then, you get underneath and you get the other layers. But I just kind of had that revelation. I was like, oh, wait, our whole language is just a social construct. Oops. It feels kind of cheap now.
Well, this is exactly relating this back to things that are in my context and my work in teaching things about Tai Chi and yoga and meditation, et cetera. Things that have a history, things that have a lineage, often show up in the present time as if, this was the way to do it. This is what we've done. Like, this is how we speak English. As if somebody back in the beginning had this long range plan and said, hey, you know what? First, we're going to start with this phase of how pronunciations and how the vowel split goes together. And then we're going to advance into some other version of this. No, it was just people hanging out and talking badly, and that bad pronunciation turned into the next phase of the language. Just like in meditation, we start off with just some guy sitting in his backyard having an experience, and then he writes that down like, this is what happened to me when I was in my backyard. And then people think, oh, that's the way to do it. It's kind of the same way with, I want to make sure I do my job here. It is similar to the pipe smoking experience. We watch the videos, we read the reviews, and we have this, oh, that's how that's supposed to taste, and that's how the cadence you should have with a pipe and whatnot. No, it was some dude in his shed, and he goes, well, I liked it like this, and then wrote that down. Right? That doesn't mean it's wrong. It doesn't mean it's like bad to have those preferences. It just, what I think it does is it allows for the appearance of someone like you, Ken. So that you come along and now you are creating something that's at the edges. Again, I put my 2 cents into that. But if we always
I'm
Except,
getting to the point where I feel like we all take it way too seriously, the whole hobby.
right?
When I'm looking at the 1800s, it's like a tavern culture in Ireland. You walk in, you take a pipe down off the roof, and you just stick some plug in it, and you start smoking it, and you light it 1,000 times, and you're having fun, and that's the way it is. And you're not supposed to be chasing the perfect smoke and worrying about how wide your bowl is and all this other stuff, because there's more fraternity and there's, it's just something you're doing, and I try to remember that, because, we really have this simulacra of pipe smoking now based on English bourgeois habits. You chase the Dunhill, you got to have the perfect smoke, you got to have a ritual and all this. And I think the Irish, those rowdy Irish had it right. Just walk in, grab a pipe, stick some plug, and start lighting it and have a good time, man. And I think there's room for both in the hobby, but I'm trying to remember that, this was once a hobby that was enjoyed by more blue collar people, and it wasn't prone to all the gatekeeping about what the perfect smoke is. And they were happy and content with not being told that they're doing it wrong, And that's my take on that. Is I really love the art of pipes. I love expensive pipes. I love the bougie looking pipes. I don't sell pipes very often, so I can be very honest about what I think of them. And that is, to me, they're just a tool for smoking the tobacco. I love the art. I love the way they look. I've got a couple of Sugays I haven't sold yet because I can't let them go. I bought them off the import that came in like over a year ago. I just can't let them go yet. They're so beautiful. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I want some cheap tavern pipes now. I want some really cheap briar pipes made in the tavern style, because clay really isn't that great for your teeth, let's be honest. But I just want some simple, utilitarian pipes and just to chill with here at home. I mean, am I really worried about someone seeing me with a 7 or a 9-inch pipe in my mouth at home? Am I really worried about what they're going to think about me? No, I'm just going to chill on that beanbag over there, listen to some videos on like the latest, studies of some weird archaeological site while I, chill and smoke my pipe. That's what I'm going to do. And no one's going to judge me, and I'm going to be perfectly content.
Ken, a question came in.
Sometimes when people with a less experience than I asking me for advice, if they're doing it right, I ask them, are you enjoying it this way? They say yes. And I say, then you're doing it right. Of course, if you want to explore something else, try it. Maybe you like it, maybe not. But as long as you're enjoying this pipe and this tobacco, it means you got it right.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned the iceberg earlier, right? There's definitely a pipe smoking iceberg. At the very top, there's Captain Black. The public is aware of Captain Black. Still, it's in bodegas. They know the name, right? You go one level underneath that, and you've basically got your lane blends, your tinderbox, store blends, stuff like that, stuff the public is aware of. Oh, yeah, if you go in those shops, they got those other pipe blends, right? Another layer of the iceberg, you get to the online website, smoking pipes, pipes and cigars, all that stuff, and especially, a lot easier is more getting in that upper tiers, right? You need to push upwards if you want to grow as a business, right? Into those higher levels of the iceberg, because if the public is more aware of you, they're going to buy your product. But it's a struggle, with marketing and everything else, it is in the general push against, tobacco in general. But, the iceberg as it is, if you're looking at it, goes there. Somewhere way down, there's like a piece broken off floating around. And that's me. I'm very aware of that, but I'm also very happy that way. I control the rate of my business. I can make my money when I want to. I can schedule my releases around the times of year I need to, tax-wise and stuff like that. I'm able to control the projects I do. I'm able to be more careful about them and really put my time and effort. I have fun doing this still. And when I stop having fun, I'm going to stop doing it, because I don't want to be a hollow man, I've worked for corporations, and that's hollow work, right? When you work for a corporation, when you work for a soulless place like that, You come home every day in existential dread about stuff that happened at work. I know a lot of people who have to have a glass of wine to self-medicate over how their day was. And that total feel of no control they come home with is terrible. This is a place where I get to control what I do and how I do it, where I do it, and when I do it. And it feels amazing, right? So if I give up those things in pursuit of more money quickly, I lose that. Then I'm just that other thing that I said I hate. So I'm trying to be very aware of that, right? But I find that being true to myself is the best way to grow my business. When I'm doing the things that I really like, the way I like to do them and taking my time, if a project makes me beam like this, when I get the label right, that's when I'm loving it, right? That's when the magic is working. Like Chris Kelly, you guys mentioned him. When he made that first carnivorous snail pipe, for the people who know what that was, it's this now it's not as amazing as it was then because he made 2 more of them. So, you know, it's like, okay, this already exists. But at the time that was new, I asked Chris, I said, when he finished it, it all came together because it was very risky, right? He takes risks as a pipe maker, okay? It all came together. And I said, did it feel like Pavarotti when he nailed the solo, right? When Pavarotti is in front of a soccer stadium and he had to do Nessun Dorma, right? And he nails it out of the park and he stands there like, holy crap, I really did it. You know, he realizes, right? The diva connects. I asked Chris if he had that moment. Now, Chris is a nice, quiet, deliberate Englishman. But, you know, he really did have that that I got it. You know, that epiphany, that eureka, that revelation. That's what an artisan is shooting for, right? And they know it when they get it. Instinctually, their bird brain tells them, this is it. You did it. Now, their ego, you know, how your ego responds to that, and I have to be very careful about this. If I get something really well, I still try to be humble about it because your ego is that little kid inside of you that's talking all the time, and he's going to tell you, you did this because you're great, not because you were lucky, not because it just happened to work and other people responded to it and you didn't even plan for them to like it this much, right? So I try to be very aware of that and self-aware of it.
Ken, did you have these kinds of thoughts in mind when you began blending your first blend, or did this grow on you as you were doing the idea of having your own business that you could express yourself as an entrepreneur, not chase money or not, you know, business for business sake, but business as a self-expression? Did you have that in mind when you started?
I don't know. I'd like, you know, I probably, that's a good question. I might have to reflect on that. I think it was a bit more childish at the time. And that is everyone wants to have things their way. You know, we're all by default selfish little children. And, you know, as a part of growing up, you learn that, you know, it's not about you. Especially family helps divorce you of those thoughts. Especially if you have children and you have to be there for them, and you learn that it's not all about you. A lot of us, especially my age and younger, had a lot of negative influences on TV that encouraged people to forever be self-centered, I think. So when I started out, I just had the kind of chip on my shoulder that a lot of people do. And I think it evolved into something as I evolved as a person, you know, and that is I've come to have a lot more, there used to be the saying in Freemasonry that Freemasonry takes a man and makes him a better man. And my uncle was a Shriner. I wasn't into it, but there is something to be said for just embracing some kind of self-improvement program for yourself and just really trying to grow as a person and find out where your rough edges are and sort them out on your own.
Got it.
And that's what I've been into since I got into the business. And eventually the business and the self-improvement thing finally got to the point where they butted heads so much that one had to like defeat the other. And the one that defeated the other was the self-improvement track. And suddenly I had to not, in life in general, it wasn't about the business or anything else. It was about life in general. I couldn't be the kid with the chip on his shoulder anymore. I had to be at ease with myself. And I had to remember to have fun and be in the here and now and remember why I like doing this and what about it makes me happy, and to focus on those parts and to take anything else that's negative or not core to that, to my own happiness, and push it out of that bubble. So a lot of the efficiencies I do for being able to scale up my business are based on making me happier as a person, having more free time to be with my family and to go bicycling and take care of my plant.
Can you take us through the story through the evolution of your blends? Like, let's just assume, and maybe I'm overstating it, but so your first blend that you put together reflected who you were as a person and who you were as a businessman at that time. But then your blends began to take on different character and evolve, and that is concomitant with the self-awareness growth that you have. And so I'd be curious to know, like how did those blends evolve?
No, I think we're all blenders. The people who are watching this they're 2 or 3 on that iceberg we talked about at pipe tobacco, right? The people who are watching this are blenders. If you prepare your own flake and your own plug to put in your pipe, you just made a straight blend. You took a plug and you made a ready rub out of it or something, right? I think the pipe stud is a big fan of the parfait, where you just layer one on top of the other and you get a kind of synergy from that you don't get elsewise. That you're a blender when you're doing that. It's just a question of scale. I really liked, at one time, my local tinderbox had a blend called espresso, but it wasn't the Cornell and Deal one. It was something they had from way back before. They don't carry that anymore, that blend. I don't know if Stokeby made it or someone else, and it was sold under a tinderbox label. As a lot of those tend to be, like STG or produced or something like that. But I really liked it, and I liked it mixed with burley. It was just a plain black Cavendish, and it had a really heavy dressing, though. It was rich, but it was really heavy, and I really liked mixing it with some straight-ish kind of burley, and having it with coffee. And then I couldn't find the tinderbox product anymore, and I tried the other products on the market, and I was looking at it, and I was like, well, how do I do this? And I had to make my own bowl of tobacco. That was my original problem, and then I shared it with other people, and it just kind of grew from there. So it was sort of a pragmatic thing. I was like, I can't make the thing I used to make anymore by just mixing up 2 things, and now I have to figure out how to do it the hard way. And I kind of just went down a rabbit hole with it because I'm an autodidact.
Do you have any mentors that taught you about tobacco?
I bug poor Russ Ouellette to death with questions. He probably has a special filter for me now. I read probably every old patent on file in the patent system about processes for tobacco at one point. I kind of went down a rabbit hole on that. I actually found some really awesome articles from Craig Tarler that were in this one database I couldn't find anywhere else that described some of the differences between their methods and other people's methods. And I had one of the, aha moments. And I think all of us do that. I was reading where Greg Pease was going through and reading old Balkan Sobrani recipe cards. I think once you there are certain people who are what we call shape rotators. And shape rotators are a style, well, it's a thinking pattern where you kind of deconstruct things around you and twist them to see how you could use them in other ways. When you're talking about how people think, that's pretty far down that iceberg. You have conversations about this that don't make any sense to anyone at all, except to say that I come from an aerospace family, and we were all shape rotators. And one of my uncles made a custom part for every space shuttle that ever left orbit. And one of my other uncles helped design the cockpit of the space shuttles and worked on the Apollo program. And they were all self-taught electricians as kids because they're those natural reductionist shape rotators, right? So I kind of bring that to pipe tobacco with me. That's in my family's DNA, just to have what people used to call, and I don't know what they call it anymore, but it was called the knack. You just sort of had a knack for that sort of thing. And I think the last time I saw the knack portrayed on TV, it was actually a character called Sylar on Heroes, and he wasn't a good character at all. He tore other characters open to figure out how they worked, and then he took their powers away. So the shape rotator reductionist was actually the villain. But in general, we're good people.
So what's your starting point for some of these rotations that you make? We joked around a little bit about the Patience of Dr. Silence, and I said that I tasted Latakia, or what I imagined would be some Orientals in there. And so that's kind of like a shape that you would have started with. And then, we say things like, Ken's got his own take on things. Well, what that really means is what he's describing here about shape rotation, right? You start. So what are some of the things that have been sort of your starting points?
Well, with the Patience of Dr. Silence, it actually started out kind of an artistic kind of discussion. And that was, I was like, well, Chris, what do you want the blend to say? And we started backwards from that. So instead of starting out, how do we monetize you with something that redirects to your website to sell your pipes, to increase your market presence and awareness? That wasn't the conversation. It was, what would you like? And then, based on his philosophy for what he wanted the blend to say, I am like, here is my tapestry. Here's my palette of colors to choose from. Now let's think about how we take this philosophy and adapt it to the tools available to get that result, right? So it's a working backwards from trying to say that. So if you're starting out trying to make a commercial blend to sell commercially, and you have a boss, you're going to make an archetypal blend. You're going to make an English. You're going to make a vapor. You're going to make a straight Virginia blend. You're going to make a Danish blend. You're going to make an American Danish blend. You're rarely going to do anything risky off that radar because you can't show the market demand for something that isn't archetypal, okay? So you're going to have less of that going on. Since I don't have a boss and I generate my own demand, I have the freedom to just color outside the lines anytime I want to, right? And that's not to say anyone else is doing it wrong or not doing it right. I don't do it right. The amount of stuff I don't know can fill the Grand Canyon, man. But I have a liberty to do something that other guys don't really get to because, I'm my own boss. So I get to just say, hey, we'll take really dark Virginia and this really dark Virginia that's also fire cured, which makes it a little bit smoky, which is what you're picking up in the Dr. Silence, not Latakia. But we can take those untraditional those really, what would you say, astringent, more powerful grades of Virginia, and then take these really ancient grades of mature red Virginia. They're so delicate. And so, they're just, some people can't even smoke them. They'll just get dipped by, that really old red Virginia, right? but they're so delicate, but they don't really have a lot of power and a lot of strength. They're just very sippy, very delicate. So you have this clash going on. And in between them, you have that middle layer to kind of soften it out a little bit and to kind of make it, to kind of pull it together. And what you wind up getting from that is one guy's like, this is an all-day smoke for me, but it doesn't taste at all like an all-day smoke. And I was like, that's it.
Can I ask you a question about how you process the sensations of it? I was just curious in the way that you were describing, the layering. Do you smell these aromas? Do you taste them? Do you visualize them as they come together? It sounds like there's more than just taste in the way that you put these blends together, but I might be projecting. So I'm just curious, like, how do you internally process the different elements and components of your blends?
That's a good question. I used to make lists of attributes I gave to different components and ingredients, right? How they made me feel, how people describe them, how other people perceive them, how I perceive them, weird things about them, testing different things together and seeing what kind of synergy they had, right? It's like this on its own does this, this on its own does this, but when you combine them, you get this weird pop, right? Mm-hmm. Just looking for those curiosities and exploring them. I mean, is there any more awesome calling than that, than being interested in something where you're making these little discoveries and being like, oh, isn't that cool? Oh, isn't that neat? It's kind of like I said, we're all blenders. People add a little Latakia to their blends, or they'll add a little of this or a little of that. It's that same spirit. I just spend a lot of unhealthy time looking at it more than other people.
That's really awesome. I'm immensely enjoying this conversation, but I don't want to be greedy. So let me open this up to the group again, to questions, thoughts. Is this a new kind of way of looking at blending for you? And I want to also invite the people over there watching us on Facebook and YouTube. Also, if you have questions that you want to ask Ken, drop them in the chat and I will pass them along, whatever. But guys, let me just open it up to everybody if you have a question for Ken.
Ken, I had a question. I really like your Latakia blends, Notorious, Mountains of Madness, Plateau Lang, and so on. And they're different than so many English blends that are out there. They're much richer. Is there a special way you approach making your Latakia blends, or things you put in there that might not be found in other blends?
It's the Latakia. I'll just be honest. And Latakia lovers have preferences, right? You're keying in on the kind of Latakia I'm using, which is basically, it's a little bit exclusive to me, but also is discontinued and doesn't exist anymore. So I've got some reserves of it left for blending more Plateau, which I'm going to rebrand as just Plateau. I'm going to drop the edgy Lovecraftian stuff off of that one because it's not an Eldritch blend. It's going to be just the Plateau of Englishes. But it's the Latakia selection. If this Latakia was still on the market, I think other people would be using it too. I scooped up as much of it as I could when I first got into this pipe blending business because I was like, it reminded me the most of the European blends with the cut and the strength and the profile. When I use a lot of other Latakias, I use them per blend based on what I want the blend to say. Because everyone's Latakia, if you try them yourself, is going to be different. If you try their pure Latakia, you're like, well, if you try C&D Latakia and Set Lift Latakia, and you smoke both straight, which I would not recommend, but if you do, you'll be like, well, this is not at all one like the other. So if you were matching a blend, you'd want to remember what kind of Latakia are you going for? More barbecue, more smoky, more pungent, what characteristics are you looking for? I really like the Latakia that Robert Germain uses in his blends and that STG uses in their blends. The cut is always really good. It has a mottled brown appearance like real smoked tobacco would. It's not jet black. When I see jet black, that usually means cased, which is okay, right? I like Sutliff Latakia for some applications or mixing it with other Latakias, but when I'm usually working with them back of the scenes though on the specifications of the products that I want, right? But I'm just very picky with Latakia. If I work for a company though, I'd pretty much be guaranteed to use only their Latakia. So all my blends would taste the same.
Thanks, that's great.
Good evening, Ken. This is Ramachandran from India. I just wanted to know, since you are a creative blender, creative in the sense, you think differently. So you start your blending only on the basis of what's available to you, or would you go in for a backward integration like interacting with the growers also to come out with the kind of a component, maybe Latakia or Virginia, that suits what you have in mind?
I wish I was that connected down to the grower level, but then I'd be in America, I'd be a manufacturer probably or something like that if I was doing that, and I wouldn't be able to do this because of the stratification of the business due to the regulatory framework we live in a free country. So I'm not really that connected with growers or anything like that. I don't even have a plant in my backyard. Although I kind of wish I did, because now I kind of wish I had a whole garden in my backyard. I don't know if anyone else is like this, but suddenly I want a bunch of box gardens in my backyard this year. But I'm not that integrated. By the way, where in India are you from?
I'm from New Delhi, capital.
Oh, cool. I was there for about a month 5 years ago, especially
really?
Greater Noida area.
Oh, yeah.
I tried to, I got addicted to chai while I was there, and I would have some from every street vendor I ran into.
Do you come to India frequently?
I would love to have tea with you, man. I can't get good tea in America. I tell people this story sometimes. They don't believe me. I'm like, yeah, I learned how to drink hot tea in India. And then I heard I was going to go to England. I was so happy because they're a tea culture, I thought, And then I went to England and I was there for like a month. And I was like, wow, why did they learn tea from India and then just not apply any of the lessons? The tea was so much better in India. I was like, it was kind of like I was saying earlier about pipe culture. It was kind of an echo of the earlier thing.
Okay. Do let me know whenever you happen to be in India next time.
I will do that, sir. I would. When I was in southern India, the locals pranked me. They told me I was getting masala chai, and they gave me the strongest ginger tea that they could find.
Yes.
And they wanted to see my reaction when I drank it. And I'm totally cool with being punked, okay? Because I used to be a punk. And I started to sip it, and I realized this was not masala chai. This was something different, and it was burning the roof of my mouth. The ginger was so strong, and my palate was not used to it at all. And then out of the corner of my eye, I noticed that they're all looking at me. And I was like, oh, it's a test. And I drank the whole rest of it in one swig after that. And then turned and was like, good, guys. But I was totally faking. I was like,
thank you.
What other questions do you have for Ken while we're in that moment? And again, I want to make sure that I let the people know who are watching us over there on the live stream, continue to assure you that you're just as much a part of the group and the meeting and the conversation as the guys here in the Zoom room, although you're not as cool. Just if you want to be that cool, you have to come in the Zoom room. Right, Steve? Steve spent his, yes. So,
Absolutely.
Okay, Ken, I have first of all, I want to thank you for making ANCAP. That's a wonderful blend, wonderful tobacco, Orientals. I love it. It's just fantastic. And a question I have, is there any blend, on the market, like any classic blend that you want to try to, I don't know, not replicate, but get close to, or make your own version of it? Is there any kind of holy grail you're trying to get at that you haven't quite gotten to yet?
Rich dark flake.
Okay.
It's impossible for many reasons. And it's kind of stupid, but it's the little kid in me that's got the chip on his shoulder that says you can do anything because you're smart. And it's like, no, you're really dumb. The amount you don't know is always greater than the amount you do, and you need to be humble. But the fact that so many people get worked up about the tobacco and that they seem so anxious and anxiety ridden about it, I think it keeps luring me to try to make like some sort of thing that's pretty darn good, some sort of treacle blend that's basically, instead of, if you're familiar with the Stonehaven versus RDF proportion debate, if you're on that part of the iceberg about the proportions being flipped between the Burley and the Bright Virginia, I'm like, you know what, why don't you just do one 50-50 right down the middle and not worry about it? But I found a good source for broken Burley flake and a good source for broken Bright Virginia flake. And I thought doing a mixture of the two together with a treacle dressing applied over it and then maturing it with the treacle dressing on top of it would allow you to have a cheaper and to produce blend than what Robert does, which it appears to me that they probably take the stack of the flake and then probably get the dressing down through it via vertical application. But I've had a chip on my shoulder about that for a while, but it's also intimidating because if you shoot for anything and it's anything less than 5 stars, people will mock you to the end of days. So it's one of those things where unless it was absolutely stellar, I would never release it, because if you release anything that's inspired by something like Rich Dark Flake, if it's not as good, you will get drugged. I mean, let's be honest. It would be a lot of audacity to say this is inspired by something like RDF and do anything less than 5 stars. And you have to be honest with yourself about that. And, if you're going to be honest to consumers who buy a product, So that's my own unicorn. Because to be honest, it's back to my coffee problem with Burley Morning Pipe. And that is, I love RDF and I can't get any.
Ken, I just want to assure you that speaking for the rest of the club, we'd be happy to be your test subjects if you want to work on a blend like that. Just we'll help you because we're givers.
Well, I'm glad that was the last question that we got in because it's a little bit over the hour, and I think that was a pretty cool one to answer straightforward without any kind of philosophical rambling.
Yeah.
Ken, what is your most? I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Dylan.
But Ken, what is your? I'm just curious. I'm just amazed, of course, some of the creative names you have for your tobaccos. I've always been fascinated with your imagination. But what is your most? You have the one or two most popular blends that seem to be the most in demand from all your many good blends you do.
Dark Fire Cherry and Burley Morning Pipe, because what people say they like in public is not what they really like. So I have all these tobaccos made for, people who are hobbyists, really, right?
Yeah, they did a Zoom call, like on their, they shared the link on the Facebook page.
Aromatics sell best.
And I have to tell you, I really enjoy Burley Morning Pipe. How close is that to the original blend that you made? Anywhere near it, or?
I think it's better. Because the people I shared that original blend with were like, I think you're onto something, but I don't know, there's something missing. But I do have to go, guys. I see that David is on mute.
Oh, am I on mute?
Yeah, I really, as I said, I really enjoy it. Great with a cup of coffee in the morning. So thank you.
Well, Fred, I've enjoyed your patronage over the years, by the way. Thank you very much. I'm sorry that you only got to talk to me now after I was only going to stay for the first hour.
Yeah, I wanted to break in here because I know that it feels like the questions are starting to come out now, but we've got to help Ken stay in his good graces, and he's got a family event that he's going off to, so we're going to let him go right now. Let me just open it up to the group and just say thank you, and we'll send him on his way.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you for joining us.
And real quick,
Thanks, Ken.
I was having crumbs of comfort because I have to go somewhere right after this, and I couldn't smell like smoke for that event. So I'm having crumbs of comfort, which a friend from England let me try 3 years ago, and I've been sniffing since. Take it easy, guys. Have a wonderful weekend. It's sunny out there. Get some sunshine and feel great.
Thanks, Ken.
Thank you, Ken.
Thanks, Ken. Very nice.
Thank you, Ken. Great to see you again.
That is, I'm so happy that we had a chance to meet him. He's been on our list of guests that we would love to have on the show. And as he's pointed out, he is not often on any interviews or articles or pipe clubs or whatever. So we were really lucky to get him in there. Just caught him at just the right time. And very definitely, he left the door open as we were communicating to coming back. So we'll see if we can get him back on again in a future show and ask him those other questions and find out some of the inside story on new blends that are coming out, perhaps. Never know, that kind of thing. So I think what I said was, because we were going to start right off with Ken and talking to him, that we would delay our ritual, but I think it's a good ritual. I think it's a good one, talking about what we're smoking today. And if any of you have run off to get your KBV blends to smoke while Ken was here. So if you wouldn't mind putting up your virtual hands, and then I'm gonna get Miguel to help me out, as he always does, such a good job. So Miguel, would you get us started there, brother?
All right, thank you so much. Well, I mean, listening to Ken Byron, I wish he's my professor actually on my philosophy and my history, because I dropped the class because of I'm smoking basically this morning. I'm smoking a Castello Syrup Virgin KK, and in it, it's Carolina Red Flake with Perique. So for that, I am going to pass the virtual pipe club to Dimitri, because we missed Dimitri last week.
Then I have. Okay, guys, I started with this beautiful John Cotton double pressed Kentucky from Russelette. I had it in Tim Thorpe pipe, one that Tim made custom made for me according to my specifications. And now I switched to one of my own blends, Three Continents, in Chris Morgan's club pipe. And let me pass the pipe to, let's see who is, Kyle Bowen.
Hey everyone, joining you from sunny San Diego. I'm smoking last year's Peretti Thanksgiving out of Bing's favorite. So I will, it's a little too sunny for me. Trying to see who I can pass this on to. Oh, well, my screen's a little too bright.
I'll give you a hand. Janos is up next. Right. Janos, why don't you go ahead, sir? Oops, you're on mute there, my friend. Janos, you're muted.
I'm okay now?
There we go. Yes.
Okay. I say good afternoon from Cyprus. I just finished a bowl of Dunhill mixture. Okay, in a silver gray Ben Eskimo, how it called. And next one gonna be the last punch of McClellan that the CEO of Sutcliffe gift to me when I was to Richmond. Very nice blend. Is the land punch. Is history. You can't see it.
Yeah, Janos, so that's the best West Virginia ever made by anybody.
Yeah. It's and okay, I pass the pipe to the team.
Thank you,
Team.
Janos. Thank you, Janos. Thank you very much. So I started off my day with this Peterson New Grange spigot, and I was smoking a Ken Byron Ventures blend called You're Welcome. It's a matured Virginia ribbon. It was excellent. And now I have switched to this Paul Bonaquisti author Sandblast, a really nice big bowl, beautiful pipe. And in it, I'm smoking, in honor of our guest, Ken Byron Ventures. I'm sorry, in honor of smoking Moriarty, in honor of Ken Byron. And with that, I'm going to pass the virtual pipe over to Steve Spent.
Hey, thank you. Thank you, Tim. Hey, greetings to everybody, all my VPC brothers and sisters. I know we had Steph and Skip earlier. I don't see her now. But anyway, glad to see everybody today. Smoking today, my Nording kind of a bent Dublin. I don't know if it's a freehand or not. Beautiful pipe, wonderful smoker. And I guess as weather turning warm, I'm shifting back towards Virginia's a bit. Some Cornell and Deal opening night. Very good straight Virginia blend. And I will pass the virtual pipe to Dave Herinek.
Thank you, sir. Good day, everybody. I just want to start by welcoming our friend Ramachandran back, and I hope your family's healing from their loss. My condolences. Today, I'm smoking my workhorse pipe since I'm at work, and in it, I got Davidoff Medallion Flakes. I started the day off with a little bit of Cloud Hopper, which I think was a wee bit of a mistake because it's pretty heavy to start your day off before you had a piece of toast or some coffee. But anyway, that's where I'm at. I'm a little buzzed now, and my train will be here soon. Let's see who's got their hand up. I'm on my phone, so I can't see everybody at the same time. How about we pass the pipe on to Brother Alvin?
Thank you, Dave. Thank you very much. Well, I was smoking my Briar Blues 20th anniversary, and I had some Ken Byron early morning pipe in it, but I started it much earlier than our show started, so I'm now just switched to my St. Patrick's Day 03 event pot, and I've got some Kramer's Father Dempsey in it, and it's this pipe has not got much rest since I got it. I need to probably figure out how to do that, but it's just smoked so well. And let's see. How about if I turn it over to, let's see who's up. Perry, I'll pass it to you, my friend.
Thank you, Alvin. This morning I'm smoking a Seattle Pipe Club, their Latakia blend. I'm drawing a blank on the name, but Plum Pudding Special Reserve in a Dunhill County with Cumberland stem. And if I'd known we were going to have Ken Byron on, I'd be smoking Notorious. Anyway, I'll pass it on to Michael Schroeder.
Hello, everyone. I'm currently smoking some Folklore in a Walt Hettinger that he made for me. It's a Bulldog. And prior to that, I was smoking Watch City Rougarou from last year.
Michael, how do you like that folklore? I bought a thing of it, but I haven't opened it up yet.
I would have to say that it's probably one of my favorite tobaccos. Fortunately, I bought 3 pounds of it when it came out, and luckily so, because I really enjoy it. I would not rub it out. I would just break it up a little bit, cut it and break it up, and it's wonderful.
Awesome. Okay, I
will pass the virtual pipe to Sean.
Thank you. I'm smoking a pair of Stanwells today for the meeting. I started off with kind of a Canadian apple, which I had LJ Peretti 150th flake in. And now I've got my little bulldog with Bengal slices. And I will pass the pipe along to Steve.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hey, I'm smoking my Peterson 306 from last year's St. Patrick's Day type. And in that, I've got the Peterson Deluxe Navy rolls. So and normally I just fold those and put them in, but today I actually rubbed it out and it burned a lot easier, a lot less lights. So lesson learned. And I think Ramachandran, have you gone yet? Pass it off to you.
No. Thank you, Steve. Greetings to all. Today I'm smoking my Winslow Crown Smooth Ben Billiard. And in that I'm smoking a house blend of Macroney's Stifling Bridge, which is Virginia Perique. And with that, now I pass it on to Bud.
Thanks, Ramachandran. I had just finished smoking a bowl of Crater Plug from HU in last year's club pipe, and I really enjoyed it. And right now I've got another Bones, it's a Sitter Big Billiard, and I'm smoking some of Amphora's Burley Blend. I'm giving it a try. So, and I will pass the pipe on to Kent.
Hello. Thank you, Bud. Good to see everyone here. Ramachandran, I just noticed what you're doing with your mustache. Maybe you've been doing it, but you could learn from Kyle on that too. People with beards notice those kinds of things. That's not a pipe thing. Here's a pipe thing. This is a freehand from Thompson. Not the old Thompson, but the relatively younger, more recent J.L. Thompson. And I'll put links in the chat. I'm not sure that he's still making pipes. He may have quit about 19. He was award-winning, and this is a wonderful pipe. And in it, I had something that's I call Gaffer's Leaf. And it's like the one with cherry and all that horrible stuff in it, but put black raspberry in it instead. Then I'm almost done with this, and in a few minutes I'll switch over to a Parker. For those of you who don't know, Parker is started as a seconds from Dunhill company and later merged with Hardcastle, and it's one of those you can get a really good quality entry pipe for those who might be used to it or want something just basic, and this is a wonderful pipe. These are my two red or oxblood stained pipes, and I guess I was in a red mood today. So with that, I will pass the virtual pipe on to Ivan.
Hello, everyone. Just joining in quickly for a smoke before going back to the England-France rugby match here in London. Smoking my 7L Eleganza. This is a billiard straight and a Virginia Burley mix from a local brick and mortar. Quite enjoying it, and thank you for the company. Shall we
What's
then
the
pass
score?
it on?
What's the score?
Well, it's starting. It will start in about half an hour. So
Okay.
All the matches are going all throughout the day. Scotland lost to Ireland very, very badly, I have to say. Very sorry to say. But anyway.
And Wales
Andrew.
lost to Italy. Have you seen that one?
Well, I missed that. But that's a good loss. That's a
lost
good
with
loss.
a couple minutes left, and Italy didn't win a single game in like the last 5 years, and they have to ruin that.
That's brilliant.
I don't even know what Italy is included on that Six Nations. They suck.
You need somebody to carry the last place there. But yeah, I'm glad to hear they won. Shall we? David Martinez, keep going.
Thank you, Ivan. I'm smoking a Comoy Prince. I dedicate this one to English ones. And we have like a kind of rainy, cold day. And yesterday was fabulous. So now it's like you feel like being home, getting a soup, eating English blends. And I'm getting this one that I'm sending to, I already sent earlier today to Tim, a Red Rappery. So since I collect tints, as you guys know, and I didn't have this one in my collection, I just sent him 99% and I'm smoking the last bowl. Sorry, Tim. I sent you 95% of the blend.
That's good. I'm happy.
It's an English with a little bit of Orientals, Virginia, and a touch of Cavendish. Sort of like a Scottish English blend. And I guess, Andrew, you go next.
Yep. Hey, David. Thank you. I'm happy to be outside today, although the birds are making a lot of chatter here. So I am smoking, actually, a pipe I made. This is a tall Dublin, one of the earlier pipes I made. I actually over-drilled it a little bit and fixed the bottom with some cigar mud and gave it a bowl coating, and it's smoking fantastic. But I'm smoking some Perique, Gowth and Hogarth Perique Flake, which Chris Kelly actually gifted me. And next I'm going to smoke my Briar Blues 2020 Pipe of the Year. This is a Radice kind of bent apple with some Flanagan flake from HU, just to keep the Irish theme going, I guess, for a little longer. And that's it. So I think anybody, let's see if I can see my screen here. There's a lot of glare. Who's left? I think I might have been the last one. Anybody left?
I don't know.
Yeah. Why don't we pass it to John from North Carolina?
Thank you, Miguel. I'm juggling this dog here who has decided she has to be in my lap this afternoon for some reason, but that's okay. We'll do what we can do. I'm smoking, I've got Eric Stokely, 4th generation. It's a nice, small, easy to handle. It's a well-balanced pipe. It smokes very well. And as usual, I'm smoking Sutliff Old Professor because that's considered my go-to tobacco, and it's what I smoke most of the time. And so I guess, am I last? Let's see. Fred, have you gone?
Inside today, not smoking anything. Good to see everybody. Last week, I was out in Denver with our daughter, made a trip to Edwards Tobacco Shop. Very nice, old-fashioned shop. Picked up a couple of blends, an aromatic and an English, and enjoyed them. So good seeing everybody.
Good to see you too, Fred. Well, Miguel, did you talk about what you were smoking already?
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, thank you.
Well, I guess
I don't think we heard from Glenn.
Yeah, Glenn's here.
I
That's
think
right.
Glenn, yeah.
Okay, I'm on. Today I'm smoking one of my Nording pipes, one of my old favorites. And in it, I've got, don't be jealous now, some old square tin black Bengal slices, the original.
That's just fantastic.
25 years old, I think. So.
Where did you find that?
I've had it for that long. I have 2 sealed tins and 1 open. This one's been sealed in a jar.
Is
Yeah,
there
I
a
had
special
chance to
occasion
try it
today?
2 times.
Are you celebrating something? Did you pull that out just for us?
Just for you.
How does it compare? Is my question.
I haven't smoked the new stuff.
By the way, Janos, thank you for the link. I just placed my order.
Well, I'll back clean up here then. So I am breaking in my newest Chris Kelly acquisition. This is the Kadath Relic. And it's kind of a church warden. It's church warden-esque, perhaps. And I was talking about this before the meeting started about that this was a bit of a happy accident. Like it wasn't intended to be anything, and he just started carving and exploring about where it would go, and then he brought it out in his this week's pipes, and I'm like, oh. It's the first time that this shape has ever been made, and I have to have it. So breaking it in today, I have already smoked a bowl of the Patience of Dr. Silence, a KBV tobacco, and now one of my favorites, Mycroft, one of his Sherlock Holmes-ish blends. And that's what I'm.
Hey, David, I can't see you. That's on purpose.
David, yeah,
I'd love to actually see that pipe.
Yeah, we're not getting your video, David.
There you go.
There you go.
Am I back? Can you see me now?
You're back.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
So this is the. We started off with such a good, clean stream, and then it got all jittery. Anyway, here is the. It's got this really deep. It's not even a rustication. It's just carving, like a spiral of grooves that go down the length of the pipe, and then this interesting wheel of spikes around the end of the pipe there. Good smoker, like I would say across the board. You know, I wanted to make a comment. An interesting comment came over the YouTube channel over the week from last week's show about how I seem to promote all of my friends and the pipes that they make. And there's some truth in that. There's absolutely some truth in that, but it's kind of like it's backwards, because I'll discover a pipe or I'll discover a blend that I really like, and then I want to reach out and become friends with them. So even if I didn't know these people personally, I'd be recommending the pipes and the blends just because they're awesome stuff, and it's just a happy coincidence that I get to be friends with them. But I completely and totally fess up to that. I don't think that's a bad thing. The people that we have in the club and as our guest speakers or whatever, so talented, so fantastic. I can't imagine not celebrating, not crowing about how great you guys are and the stuff that you do and the stuff that you make. So, yes. Speaking of which, we've got a little bit of time left, about a half an hour left in the show, so don't go anywhere. Not time yet. But I want to talk about the 2022 club pipe. We had a bit of a discussion about this last week based on some conversations I had with Janos previous to that. And we were going to do a poll. Miguel was going to put a poll out there. And am I frozen right now? Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you fine, David. Your video is. I'm not getting your. Yeah,
I can hear you.
Okay.
We got,
Yeah.
now you're visible, yeah.
Now I'm visible.
Now we can see you.
Okay.
video
not
is
not that that's a
frozen.
great thing that you have to see this face. I'm sorry about that. But what I was saying about the club pipe is we were going to do a longer poll and really get a lot of feedback on the selection of this year's club pipe. And immediately after the show last week, I got people saying, I want to buy it. I want to, like several people emailed me and messaged me and said, yes, please do that pipe. So what the hell? Let's just do it. Let's just go for it. Because that's the kind of guy I am. So here is a sample. Can you guys see that? Do I have video on that?
Nope.
Nope.
You're frozen, David.
No video to me.
You're still frozen. I can't.
Still don't see you.
Just a frozen image from the past.
A frozen image of the past. Boy, I could do a whole theme on that. I'm doing my best to get it rebooted here.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now I'm back.
Go.
Okay, really quickly. There's the pipe. And so this is the one that people were messaging me saying, yes, I would really love to have this pipe. So this is our 2022 club pipe. It is a creation by Janos Kokinos. Little bit of a reverse calabash action going on there. It's a poker-ish, but it's really stubby, kind of almost a nose warmer, not quite that small. And he's going to personally rusticate, give you a selection of 4 different stem colors and materials. He will, of course, put our logo on the bottom of the pipe and individually your name on the pipe. So when you order this, it'll be very unique. There won't be any other pipes like this anywhere. So very excited about having Janos be making our 2022 club pipe. And he's just put a link in the chat for those of you who maybe want to order it. So if you just go into the chat box there and copy that link down, or even go get it now, we just make a deposit on the pipe, and then when it's done, he'll ask you for the remainder. What I should do, though, because of my glitchy video, I'm going to turn it over to Janos and have him talk about it a little bit. And he's probably got better stream. So Janos, you want to say a few words about the pipe? And
Janos, I think you're muted.
Yeah. Okay. Ask me what you want to know about the pipe.
Yes.
The pipe is made of Italian Brian. Already ordered it. Is on the way to come from Calabria. The stem material is German acrylic. Okay, is 100% handmade. If you see the shape of the pipe, you can make it in the lathe or something. And it's hand rusticate. Okay, that's all. I don't know. Is the size is around, to compare, is Dunhill Group 3, approximately, and is less than 55 grams. It's about 50, 52, 48. It depends on the blocks, is this minus plus 5 grams. And I prepare a small gift for each pipe. Is something like it's very small, but is useful for me. That is, I keep it like a surprise in the end.
I love surprises. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's nothing big, but it's useful, believe me.
It's always beautiful
and
when you get
other
a pipe
thing
from
that
Janos and you get a little
I
gift.
put limit for the orders because I want to order the material. Okay, except the wood, I need a stem material and all I need. And after that, I need about 3 weeks to finish it.
Giannis, what is the chamber diameter on a group 3? About what is that chamber diameter? I'm just curious.
Chamber, I mean, it's about in centimeter. It's about 4 centimeter deep, and the diameter is 2 centimeters.
Okay, thank you.
By the way, Janos had said that if you want to order a filtered pipe, that he can make one for you with 9mm filter. And
yeah,
so,
there is option on the side to choose.
So just
okay, you can order by pay 50% of the pipe, and when it's finished, you take a email and pay the other half, and I send it. The price is with international post office delivery, not need to pay extra. I mean, for America, need about 10 days to come. From my experience, 10 to 12 days. Okay,
Giannis,
yeah.
is your name on the pipe someplace?
You mean my logo?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, so that's more important than my name. Okay.
Yeah, the logo of the club, my name, my logo,
Yes.
I mean, and the name of the owner.
And what about your logo? Is your logo on it?
Yeah, always.
Okay, good. I just want to be sure.
Yeah, I have my logo in all my pipes.
Yeah.
So, okay.
My name doesn't impress anybody, so I'm just asking.
What's the final?
Okay.
What's the final price of the pipe?
The final price of the pipe is $159.
Thank you.
143 euros for my European friend.
Wow, that's awesome.
Isn't that great?
Delivered.
That's an amazing.
With the delivery.
Amazing. So, Janos, you said there was a limit. How many pipes can you make for us, just so that we know to get on the ball and make our order?
Look, that there is the reason I put limit to know how I'm open. For example, I make 4 years ago for Slovakia Pipe Club, and this time I make 54 pipes.
All right. So, just to put that in
Okay,
context,
I'm open.
See what a generous guy he is. In context, last year for the alternate pipe, we sold approximately 100, I think. So, and then people were still going, "Oh, what a great pipe! I couldn't get." And then the Chris Bones pipe, we're still getting people who said, I wish I had bought it before that. So it's a limited edition. I encourage you not to wait if you want this pipe. And shapes are not universally for everybody. So, but if you want one, I would definitely order one now. It's a great pipe, and it is super light. Super. Any other questions?
Janos, I just want to let you know, Janos, I am probably one of the most boring pipe collector because all my pipe are straight, but I'm buying the pipe. I just want to let you know that.
Anyway,
like, this is
Miguel is straight. It's straight.
I know it's a straight, but mine is always been a billiard or a poker. This is the first time I'm going to be outside my I love your work, and like what I said on one of your posting, you are one of the most artistic pipe maker that I've ever encountered. So this is the first time that I'm going to go. Yeah, thank you. I will order your pipe.
Thank you.
You got
And,
Miguel out of the
one
box
thing
there, brother. Good job.
I'm almost as boring as Miguel, Giannis, but I'm going to buy your pipe because I don't want to run into the pipe stove.
Okay, I know, and I appreciate this. And I want to promise something that I don't make after that the same pipe again. The prototype, David have it, and then I don't know how much in the end I can make this, but after this I don't make an same pipe again. I say that because I love my pipe to be unique. Is my philosophy.
Exactly.
Janos, I'm wondering
Okay.
if you have a name for the shape. Have you
It's
named
alternative poker.
alternative poker? There we are.
The chamber, the ball is kind of poker, but I don't. Sorry, the poker have two silent. Okay, the chamber and the shank. Okay, these have one cylinder and one sphere.
Wow.
The shank is sphere. Okay.
Is it a
it's
sitter?
kind of poker.
Yeah, it's
Sorry?
a poker ball with a unique shank.
Yeah, something like that.
It looks like, does it sit or is it not balanced quite for that with the sphere?
Sorry?
It's a great sitter.
Is it a sitter? Can you?
Oh yeah.
Okay. That I wasn't sure with the sphere if it made it unbalanced.
Yeah, and I just want to let you know, Janos, for a hand-carved pipe and a hand-carved stem that you have for 159 USD, I mean, that is a fantastic price. And we thank you for actually, that is actually, very generous for you to charge 159 on that pipe. I saw one that DDR have for 159. Yeah, that's a pretty good, thank you for thank you for doing that.
I'm ordering the new version so I can have the old, and I can say I had the prototype, but then I've also got the new version. Is that Little Fat Morgan up there, or Moto G had his hand up there, and I didn't call on him, so I apologize for that. But you're on mute right now, so unmute yourself, and there we go.
Hello, everybody. I had my hand up back when we were talking about pipes and what we were smoking and whatnot. And, but my screen's been doing funny things. I figured if, somebody didn't see it. So, no harm, no foul. Just letting you know. I'm just recently home from the hospital, and I guess I'm doing okay. But so I'm not right now. I'm not smoking anything. But when I move over to the living room, I'm going to be smoking my Dr. Graybo that I just bought, and I got a couple of crowns from PNC. I'm still working on my bag of Scarecrow from Halloween.
That's a good.
Christmas was.
Did the doctor recommend that you refrain from smoking for a bit?
No. But you can tell from my voice that my chest is starting to declare war on my larynx.
Yeah, David, we want you to be safe, brother.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that. I want everybody to know that I really appreciate seeing everybody here today. I love you all. I really do. Out of my heart. I want you all to be safe. I want you all to be careful. Don't take anything for granted, because I know we all do. We get to the point where everything is hunky-dory and fine and sleek and whatever. And we start taking things for granted. And I don't want you to take things for granted, because when you do, it'll reach up and bite you. And I was taking things for granted, and I thought I had a cover on everything, and I thought I had everything under control. And I got a skin infection, snuck up and bit me, and it won't let me go. And I've been in a hospital probably 10 times over the last 2 years because of it. So I want everybody to be careful. Anyway, Janos, now to you. You are a very kind and very generous man. You are a skilled craftsman, and I really deeply appreciate the work that you do. There aren't many people around that are like you, and I want you to understand that it comes from the bottom of my heart. Anybody that can make a pipe like that and share it at a price like that has got a deep, very big heart. And I want you to know how much I appreciate it. Anyway, we got a little bit more time for today, so I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to shut up, and I'm going to let the meeting continue. Thank you, everybody, and I love you.
David,
thank you, David.
We love you too, man. Seriously, and you speak very eloquently, and a lot of things that we all think about, and in the idea of not taking things for granted is a good reminder. So, thank you for that.
And Brother Johnson, I second everything you said.
Yeah. It is also, I think, I hope that this club and the meetings that we have here are always thought and felt to be a safe place where we can, express that kind of stuff. You guys are always very cordial and respectful to everybody else, but also I think that you're very open with each other. And that's one of the things I love about this group so much. It's like we can have some real talk, and we can share things that sometimes make us stop and think and not joke and be somber for a moment. And you can't do that in an environment where you feel, unsafe. And so I want to continue to make this a really safe and welcoming place that we can all come together. And the people who are here, like David, I want you to always know, dude, we love you. Period. End of story. Well, I'm gonna wrap this up a little bit early today, purely selfishly. I am working this whole weekend. I'm actually working at a virtual conference, and I had a session just immediately prior to the meeting today, and I've got another one coming up in about 30 minutes, and so I'm going to end a little bit early so I can go pee, and then I can come back and do my session. Next week, I haven't gotten full confirmation yet, but I believe that next week, Matt Gus from the Seattle Pipe Club will be our guest speaker, and get a chance to talk to him about the creation of the club and what makes it so special, and also the blends from Seattle Pipe Club that everybody loves so much. And so I'm hoping to get confirmation by Monday on this, and then we've got some other wonderful guest speakers coming up. We still have a virtual tour of Missouri Meerschaum coming soon. David Martinez, right? Anyway, that's coming. So mark your calendars, and we'll let you know as soon as we know the confirmation. Go out and order that club pipe. If you're considering it, don't wait because then they'll be all sold out. And that's all I got to say. As I say every week, we're there. We're at the end of the tunnel mostly on the world pandemic, mostly. And so there's still caution to be had there. So whatever that means to you, please take those steps and don't take life for granted. Like David said, wash your hands, stay in the basement, whatever you want to do, because I want to see you back here next week. And I love you. So
thank you, guys.
Have a great week.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Great
Nice
show.
to see you all. Have a good
Thank
week.
you all.
Take care, everyone.
Everybody.
Thanks for the company.
Bye,
guys.
Have a
good weekend.
Bye, y'all.
Take care. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, Janos.
Thanks for the folklore, Miguel.
Hey, Glenn.
Thank you,
Glenn, I will check with you privately. Thank you.
Okay, guys.
It's supposed to be my others. There we go. Good night, everybody.
Night.
Bye.